655-55 Jacksonville.
Trevor fires for the back of the end zone, and that ball is going to be caught for the touchdown by Brian Thomas Jr. What a throw and catch. He tiptoed along the end line. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Fires deep downfield. Got a man. It's Brian Thomas Jr. 50 in the Colts territory. 35, 30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown, Brian Thomas Jr. Just went 85 yards.
He's a playmaker. That's what stands out to me. It's just not one thing. We all know he's fast. I can't really point to his releases. Can't really point to how he comes out of his routes. He just makes plays.
Looking, steps up, fires to the back of the end zone. Brian Thomas Jr. Did he double catch it? Yes, it is. Touchdown. He bobbled it, but hung on. Brian Thomas Jr. has the score, and Jacksonville is taking the lead.
Yeah, he's only going to get better once he masters his craft as far as his stance off the line and as far as come off ball. You'll see in games to come, he'll get better, and even next year, he's going to be even that much better than he is right now. Right now, he's just getting his feet wet and showing us what he can do. So I'm looking for this guy to be a big-time playmaker for us in the years to come, and I'm glad to have him part of the Jaguars.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your host, Tony Smith,
Jamal St.
and Dylan Denmark.
I love it. Every time we can throw one of those in there, I absolutely love it as we do get rolling here on this Wednesday edition of Jaguars Today. Tony Smith, Jamal St. kind enough to join us from Channel 4 here today. Dylan Denmark alongside as well. Jamal, thanks. You're part of the family now, as we mentioned last time you came in.
I appreciate you for adding me to the family. I'm glad to be here. This is always fun. I always look forward to football season. I got the calendar marked for training camp, and we're trying to get everything kind of buttoned up because in a week from now, things really crank up a little bit.
Yeah, the hurricane begins in about a week.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
And really in about 2 weeks when the pads come on. And then we finally start getting to at least know how serious the answers might be to some of the big questions we have, because the biggest question everyone has is about the offensive line and how improved they are or aren't. And until the pads come on, I don't even know how we begin to answer that question.
You can't. I mean, right now, until then, they're just playing in shorts. And it's so hard to judge the offensive line, the defensive line, even the running backs. I mean, when you're in shorts and it's a quick whistle, it's tough to really see where guys are. And, you talk to the guys after practice, and I was talking to Tank Bigsby during the offseason, and he was like, man, he said, you can tell just by the way he runs. I asked him if he's looking forward to the pads. He's like, dude, it's just different. and it is, because it's not really, it's football, you get hit. When you're in shorts and they're in helmets and they're doing stuff, there's a little bump, but it's not the same.
No, it's not. And look, the pads are the pads. That's when it really starts. It was even fun. We talked to Leon Searcy here because yesterday's show was all about offensive line. Okay. That's what we were doing. Our top 5 was who are the top 5 offensive linemen going into training camp, right, for the football team. And Dylan and I also put together a second list of the 5 players that we want to be their top 5 offensive linemen coming out of the season, right? Like end of season kind of thing. So we were talking offensive line. I said, Dylan and I sitting here talking offensive line. I mean, in one ear, out the other for everybody. It's the way I felt. I was like, can we at least get Leon in to give the conversation some gravity?
Yeah.
Right, about what's going on with this specific position. And, nobody knows. We all have our guesses as to how improved they might be. I don't think they're going to be any worse. That I will say with a certainty. They're not going to be worse.
I'm with you there.
Than they've been the last couple of years. How much better are they? We won't know that until they really start popping.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they've made some adjustments. I'm with you. I don't think they're going to regress and take a step back. Best case scenario, they can take maybe a medium-sized step forward, I think. I think you got some guys that haven't reached their ceiling, we feel like. Plus, you've added some solid veterans who get a different kind of opportunity here to try and see if they can kind of get some solid footing as a starter in Jacksonville. So we'll see for a guy like Ryan Hainsey, who lost his starting job a year ago.
Right.
Liam Cohen clearly believes in him, brings him here to be a starting center. Can he solidify himself as that guy here where, maybe he gets another contract and stays here long-term to finish out his career? So I think the offensive line, I'm with you. It won't be worse, but it could be maybe marginally better, and anything better is a good sign.
Yeah. And they've talked about it so much. We played some of the clips from throughout the offseason with Liam Cohen talking about it specifically, right? And the way that they've circled this is, he said it's a number one priority, right? It's getting that offensive line worked out, which I think is speaking to the real number one priority, which is Trevor. We got to put Trevor in a position to be as successful as he can be, right, this year. I think they were going into an offseason where the options in free agency to improve your offensive line were real slim, right? Like the top tier options were just not there, for players that were actually going to hit free agency. There just weren't a whole lot of options to say we can drastically, which it's the NFL, man. They don't let really good free agent offensive linemen happen.
Right.
Like, that's just not the way the league works. They're going to keep those guys in-house, especially with the money inflating like a balloon every year, right? Like, that kind of thing is just not going to be available to you. You're going to have to play in that kind of ground. And this wasn't the best draft when it came to that kind of stuff either. It was kind of when it came to offensive line, specifically with where the Jags would be drafting.
Right.
They might have wound up there in some scenarios, right, early on. When we went into it, we got off that. We were more on the running back was what we were talking about a lot. Could Tet still be in the picture? Right, for the football team by the time we got to draft day. And then someone every now and then would mention, well, could they trade up for? Nah, that's crazy.
Nah, they wouldn't do that.
And then they did that, right? So obviously those kind of things weren't in play. But I did ask Leon about this yesterday. And I think it, for me, is the offensive line question that I'm most curious about getting an answer to.
What's that?
As we go into camp next week, it's what do we need to see early on in camp that lets everyone know Anton is responding the right way to what Liam Cohen had to say a few weeks ago, about a month ago now. But he's the only player that he called out in any kind of way. Basically, during this entire offseason, it was very pointed from that perspective. So what do we need to see early on from Anton to know that he's handling this the right way?
Maybe a little nasty, right?
Right.
A little nasty. I think it might have been 2 preseasons ago. I just remember there was a preseason play for Anton. I don't think it was his rookie year, so it might have been last year, where he goes out there and he just clears out like 2 guys, like just tosses them. And it was like, okay, Anton's got a little bit, but he's one of those guys that just hasn't consistently done it.
Right.
But if you got a little consistent nasty in him, maybe at least in the run game, where you felt like, oh man, if we need a yard, we can go behind Anton and he's going to clear it out. You start seeing a little nasty from him. I'd like that. I think maybe that would say, okay, maybe the message has been sent and he says he wants to be a starter in this league. So maybe a little consistent nasty, even in practice. I mean, I know those are your guys, but you can still get a little nasty with them. They want to compete too.
Yeah. Well, and they brought in a bunch of guys that have that. Right? Like the guy that they brought in free agency.
The guy next to him.
And in the draft with Wyatt Milam and these guys that they brought in, their calling cards are basically they play through the echo of the whistle.
That's right.
Right? Like they finish plays.
That's what they needed more of.
Right. And you have Anton and Walker. Walker specifically, he needs that so badly because it does feel like that's the only thing kind of missing is whatever that mental edge is that you need from an offensive lineman.
Right.
They have a bunch of guys on the line now that have that. Yeah. Is he at least willing to mimic it, from whistle to whistle?
It can be a culture thing, I think. I think it can be a culture thing. And when you started looking at the Jaguars offensive line and you think about it, we've seen it before where the play is still going on, but they feel like they're out of it and you got guys standing up and walking. And I'm talking more about some of the guys that aren't on the team at this point anymore.
Everybody but Cam.
But everybody
Cam was
but
the only attitude guy they had.
He was the enforcer, and that was one of the things that whenever we'd ask the question about Cam and I'd ask somebody in the Jaguars, they were like, man, but his attitude, like we need him because he was the edge guy. Yeah. And the other ones were standing up and moving around. And they've gotten rid of some of the maybe worst offenders. But when you go and get some of these chippy guys, some of these play through the whistle guys, and you probably have a coach, not probably, you got an offensive line coach now that's got a little edge to him and going to get on those guys to do that a little bit more. I think you can build that culture in that room. That can be a culture thing where, hey, look, this is the expectation, and if you don't get with the expectation, then you're going to get to the bench. And, I mean, that's basically been sent pretty clearly to Anton already, right? And I don't know that Walker, outside of just getting paid last year, is going to be that like locked into where if he doesn't get with that culture or that they want to set, I think Walker's a good player. I don't think he's on like the chopping block at the moment, but if he's not playing through the whistle, they're going to start looking for a guy that will.
You got to match the energy of the guys.
Yeah.
Like it is a full unit. Mm-hmm. And, Cam was the only one that wasn't matching the energy.
Right. He was trying to set it.
Right.
He was trying to set it, and those other guys weren't meeting him there.
Trying to set a tone, and it just wasn't happening with the group of guys that they had. I think Sheriff has it to some degree. Right.
He's healthy.
But he's not that. Yeah. Right. Like he's not the vocal guy with that kind of thing. But, you saw it a little bit in the game against Houston. When you had the cheap shot on Trevor.
Sure.
And, it was...
Cam would have been in jail.
He would have.
Cam would have crashed out.
Right? Like, you needed Evan Ingram to be the guy that comes back and actually cleans him off the guy. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, you needed that to happen instead of one of the offensive linemen, which was disappointing. We talked about it at the time. Mm-hmm. But it was Sheriff that's the one that was in the end zone almost starting the second fight.
Yes.
Right? Like, the second melee was almost... It was Sheriff that was in the middle of that kind of thing. Yes. Which, when I was watching, I was a little bit, why did it take this long?
The offensive line should have been the first one saying, oh, okay. Like, it's going, and Cam would have crashed out. We know that. Yeah. And that was one of those things where
Cam would have been thrown out of the game with him.
Thrown out of the game?
Yeah.
I mean, it might have taken some people to rip him off of someone. Yeah. And you kind of want that. My favorite football movie is The Replacements.
Quicksand,
Quicksand. And there's the scene in the parking lot where the guards say, we're guarding the quarterback, flip the car back over. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, there's a level of truth to that where you want your guys to be protective of your quarterback. Especially on the offensive line, and they need a little bit more of that. You see it in the NBA. I remember I'm a Pelicans or a New Orleans Hornets fan, whatever you want to call them at the time, and they used to have Chris Paul, and Chris Paul was getting roughed up. And they went and got James Johnson because they said James Johnson's a freaking black belt. So they said, all right, rough him up. We got the black belt dude over here who's going to come in and enforce and have his back. So if it's a fight, we're going to win.
Yeah.
Like, and teams think like that in every sport, and you need that on your offensive line. You want those nasty guys that are going to have Trevor's back, whether he's right or wrong. I mean, you've probably seen the Kyle Turley play where he goes and rips the guy's helmet off and tosses it in the stand against the Jets. Well, they had a face mask penalty against his quarterback, so he was going to get a face mask penalty of his own.
Yeah.
It's playing offensive line and protecting your quarterback.
Yeah, it's attitude stuff.
Attitude.
Yeah, I can remember, look, I'm a Braves fan. I'm not shy about sharing that kind of thing. Yeah. But I can remember, I think it was last offseason, it may have been the year before, MLB Network was doing a special on Greg Maddux. Mm-hmm. And early in his career there in Chicago, he knew he was getting ready to be sent down again. It was really early in the whole thing. He wasn't Maddux yet, right? But he was getting ready to be sent down again. And whoever they were playing that day, I forget who they were playing that day, but they threw at Winfield. Right, in the Cubs lineup. And the coach came over to him and said, you don't have to throw at anybody, right? Like that kind of, like, it's fine if you don't. I'm not worried about it. We're sending you down. He's like, no, I do. Right? Like, and he was like, the rest of the guys in this dugout will not respect me.
Right.
Unless I do what I have to do.
That's it.
Right. And that's the way baseball used to be enforced. They're trying to get that out of the game.
Sure.
Right? Like that side of it's kind of being taken out of the game. But the NFL, they're not policing any of this really.
No.
Like you police yourselves only when someone steps over the line. Mm-hmm. When there's clearly some line stepping going on, the guys who enforce that are not the officials. It's the guys on the field.
Right.
Who step in and say, no, we saw what you did. Mm-hmm. We're not letting you off the hook. For that kind of thing. And the attitude for the rest of those kind of games changes.
Yeah, look, I mean, you see it in college. The last week of college football, rivalry week with all the flag planting, where every team was going to protect their field. Now, that was after a game, but this is something during the game. It is that same pride if you want to play that kind of game, you can play that against somebody else, because if you come in here and you play like that, somebody's going to hit you in the mouth. And you definitely don't play about our guy. If you're on the offensive line, you give me a guy like Wyatt Milam. He endeared himself to the fan base, period, when he said, I don't want anybody to touch Trevor. I don't want anybody to touch my quarterback. Yeah. And, like, if every offensive lineman just walked up to the podium when they had to do media and just said that and said, I'm not taking any more questions, I think people would be fine. Mm-hmm. As long as they backed it up when it came time. Yeah. Because I'm like you, after that play against the Texans, I went back and watched it, and I'm like, all right, where's every offensive lineman in this? I'm taking roll. I want to know who was on the field and where you at. Oh, you way over there, huh? Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Because that's an attitude thing. And that's part of the culture where you need to have guys that are going to back your guy. And I get it. Evan Ingram was right there in it. He crashed out. He did what he was supposed to do to set the tone. And I think there's a handful of other guys that would have done the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you needed your offensive lineman to be in there too. And they should have been the ones like Sheriff saying, well, I didn't get it in the first one, but I'm going to get it. But if you don't want to leave the field, that's cool because I'm waiting on mine.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of thing. And we'll see if that kind of attitude is here. Now, we won't know that until the pads go on and there's a real opponent on the field. Mm-hmm. Really. I mean, until you have a reason to see where that attitude is, we won't know exactly what the answer to whether or not they've actually improved in that area. I think they've improved in that area.
I think they'll be better. If you look at all the guys they brought in, and like in the past, they've brought in a lot of guys they called culture setters then. But a lot of them were more like the quiet kind of lead guys, like do as I do, I'm not as I say kind of guys, not the vocal leadership. Look at the guys they brought in this offseason. Almost all of them are vocal leaders as well as like follow my example. I'm going to be the first guy in line, but I also have no problem talking my trash on the field. Jordan Lewis, a guy who's out there, he's made it no bones that he's going to talk his trash, but he's also going to do the hard work and do the nitty gritty and try and back it up.
Yeah, it was the reason I was so gung-ho about it after the 2022 season when we were talking about how do you prioritize the free agents they had.
Yeah.
Right, going into that, I thought Arden Key was such a big just personality in that locker room because they didn't have anybody else that would do it that way. It's not because he's going to be the 10-sack guy. Nope. It's because he's the one that was willing to be loud.
He's the crazy guy. Right? Every good team has a crazy guy, and Arden Key was the crazy guy.
And they've played the last 2 years without a crazy guy.
Yeah.
Like anywhere.
That's it.
Like it's just the personality is Doug Peterson allows you to be whoever you are. Mm-hmm. And what they were was a bunch of Like, that's essentially what they were. There was when it started going away, what happened in 2022 to turn them around was a bunch of guys feeding off the energy of guys like Arden Key in the locker room.
Right.
That's what allowed it to get turned around. And in 23, when it started slipping away, they didn't have anybody like that to reel him back in. 24 was a disaster almost from the word go for the football team. Like, it's just, they haven't had that. And it does feel like they've added more than one. They've added half a dozen guys who give you that kind of thing in the locker room this year, and we just don't know what kind of dividends that's going to pay.
For the entire Doug Peterson era, I feel like we had to have the same conversation with guys over and over again, and it was the slow starts. It was, why is every game got to be the hardest game you ever played? Does it have to be this miracle comeback for you to win? Yeah. It was slow out of the gate, and I asked Evan Ingram this same question, countless times, and he's like, man, you've seen it. Whenever we're backed into a corner, we fight our way out. I'm like, okay, well, can you throw the first punch once? And he's saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And even if you think about the run to the playoffs, they were backed into a corner. They had like a 1% chance of making the postseason. All right, now we fight our way out and we go and do this thing. The playoff game against the Chargers, backed into a corner. It's do or die, and now they show up. But now I think they went and got a whole lot of guys that aren't wait until the third round to show up. Now they got guys that are willing to throw that first punch, if you will, for the game and show up at the beginning of it to see if that'll set the tone. A guy like Arden Key who was going out there and helping to set that tone early. But even then, a lot of it was those comebacks. That entire season, that playoff run under Peterson was comeback game after comeback game after comeback game. Yeah. Because they let themselves get backed into a corner. So now I think they went and got some guys that hopefully are going to throw a punch in the first quarter, if you will, and help them maybe play with the lead.
And I do think that stat that was running around on Twitter yesterday with the Brian Thomas Jr., who in the first quarter last year had 93 yards. Mm-hmm. Over the first quarter of the entire season, I think it speaks to exactly what we're talking about here. It's not that Brian Thomas Jr. can't give you more than that, obviously, early in games. And by the way, we'll talk about where BTJ landed in ESPN's article of the top 10 wide receivers as they're talking to personnel and everyone across the league. We had mentioned Dylan had put out his official prediction on where he thought he might land yesterday. He was close. Close.
Where do you have him?
He had him at 15.
15
is where he thought he might land. So we'll react to Brian Thomas Jr. and his spot on that list as we get things rolling here on this Wednesday edition of Jaguars Today. The Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day, asking you simply to send us your questions for Jamal St, who's joining us for the program today. We'll get to some of those as we continue along. It's a Wednesday edition of Jaguars Today on 1010 XL.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
There he is.
Dan Hickett.
Joe Hollywood.
Mr. Big Shot.
Jeff Prosser.
I'm a teacher. All I need are minds for molding.
They are The Drill. Mornings on 1010XL.
Do we get any sort of souvenir?
Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durban Park, Butler Point, and now in Ortega Park. Chicken Salad Chick.
Say goodbye to glasses and contacts with customized vision treatments at Bowden Eye & Associates. Hey, Hicken here. Dr. Bowden and his expert team bring you all the latest options like Evo implantable Caliber lenses, refractive lens exchange, or traditional LASIK. Tailored just for you. Imagine waking up to clear vision. No hassle, no fuss. You ready to see the difference? Call now or visit BowdenEye.com for a free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the first coast focused.
Tailgaters parking season passes are on sale now. Secure your Jaguar season parking today. Enjoy indoor restrooms, a full-service bar and grill, access 4 hours before kickoff. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and book your space today.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday
On Jaguars Today.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hacker here, and guess what my scale reads? 195 pounds. I'm shocked seeing that number, but it's there every month. The weight is staying off after dropping 122 pounds. Absolutely life-changing. Awaken180weightloss.com.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabot on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
Family owned and managed for 20 plus years, Hidden Hills Golf Club boasts a unique and welcoming atmosphere. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to book your next round on our Arnold Palmer signature course. You'll be glad you did.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Do you need to replace a window? Maybe a door in your house, your sliding glass door? Maybe you're like me, you need to replace the whole kit and caboodle. Well, Pella Windows and Doors has your back. No matter how big or small your project is, right now, get 60 months with 0% financing. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. That's Pella Windows and Doors. Get your free consultation online at PellaJacks.com or stop by their showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
One of Beard's Diamond's most popular events ever is back. It's Christmas in July. Right now, for a limited time, you get as much as 40% off anything in our showcases. Yes, that includes engagement rings, fashion rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, colored gemstones. This is the annual store-wide sale that everyone loves because you get December prices in July. Up to 40% off store-wide. Don't miss Christmas in July. Exclusively at Beard's Diamond at the St. John's Town Center and online at beardsdiamonds.com. Shop local. Shop Beards.
Your grandfather was stronger at 50 than you are at 40. Want to know why? His testosterone was 30% higher than yours. That's not genetics. That's modern life killing your hormones. Stress, chemicals, sitting, it's all crushing your T levels. Male Excel reverses it. Prescription testosterone, thyroid optimization, personalized to you. Over 100,000 men are already winning again. Your turn. Try MaleExcel.com. Free assessment because you deserve it. Your family deserves it.
Registration is now open for the Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. Over $250,000 in cash and prizes available, with payouts up to 20 places. Of course, there's great prizes for lady anglers, and bring along your junior anglers as well. Register today at kingfishtournament.com. Even if you're not on the water, spectators will enjoy fun exhibits, food, kids' activities, and a fireworks display at the Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament.
Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacks Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacks Beach, or visit apexroofingfl.com.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service. 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coating. We transform pool decks, driveways, and patios with pro precision.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jamal St here joining us for the program this morning. So send us your questions for him, as we are a week away from all of us being out there for Jaguars training camp next Wednesday. And it'll be a whole lot like the OTAs, at least for a few days out there at training camp, but it will be the beginning of training camp.
It's the beginning of it. I mean, it'll be a little bit like that, the shorts and stuff, but we know there's something right on the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more open practices for this, so we'll get more of the fans coming out watching, which even the players and coaches admit that brings a different energy out there to the practice field, kind of breaks it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think the first 3 days are open to the public next
I think
week.
That's right.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, those tickets are free. I mean, I can remember going to the Saints training camp practices as a kid, and this was before the digital ticket, so you had to show up early and wait in line to hope to get inside. I think that's when I decided that I wanted to do something like this.
About that.
No, man. I remember having to wait in the line to hope and then they're cutting it off at some point, and you're like, are we going to get in, or did I just wait all this time for nothing?
Yeah. I am of that age where I can remember when you had to get to the movie theater early enough to get the seat you wanted.
Come on now. Midnight drops. I miss those.
I was working at the theater when those started here in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't miss that part of it, though.
That was fun.
Okay.
Because what would happen with the midnight drops a lot was the Wednesday before, whatever movie we were doing the midnight for, you had to run through the reel. We were still on reels.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't digital when we were playing them when I was working at the theater. So you would have to make sure the reel was right. So someone would have to sit through whatever movie we were going to be doing that with the day before.
Yeah.
And I can remember doing this with the first midnight drop we had at the Regal when I was working there was the first Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
So you got to see it early.
So I got to see it early. Right. And it was funny because I was the only one it was like three of us that worked there and said, yeah, we'll watch, because the other two knew it was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I was a Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm pumped. I go in there, we watch the whole thing, and it ends the way that it ends, right? With Frodo and Sam walking towards Mordor by themselves. And they were like, what happens? Like I was like, well, it's a trilogy. And they were like, dang it.
There's more.
I was like, you didn't get the sense like half an hour ago that there's no way they can wrap this up. Right.
Well, it was a pretty long movie. So, once you're 2 hours in, you're like, oh, they're going to wrap this thing up, right?
But that was the first midnight show that I can remember we had over there.
Oh, man.
Was that. And, yeah, that was back in the day when I wanted to sit middle in a theater. That meant I got there the 45 minutes early.
That's right.
To make sure I got that seat, as opposed to I bought that ticket 14 days ago. They don't know, man.
You're not as invested. You're not as invested. Come on.
They just don't know with that kind of stuff. As we mentioned going into break, BTJ did show up on the ESPN's top 10 list. He will be the highest ranked Jaguar on any of those lists.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 13 because I can't imagine a corner is going to be above 13 when they go into that tomorrow on there. But the little write-up, because he was high enough on the list, we've gotten write-ups on him and Foye. I still want an explanation for ESPN why they would go 21 deep with off-ball linebackers blurbs, but we can't go 15 deep with edge rushers.
Right
in the National Football League. But we do get a blurb on Brian Thomas Jr. from an anonymous AFC executive who said he'll be on the list by next year. He can do it all. He took the league by storm last year. He's got the size and can win in all areas on the field. There's not one thing you can't do with him. He can play outside or in the slot and dominate. I think for Jaguars fans, a lot of the reaction has been to Malik Neighbors being 7 and Brian Thomas Jr. being 13.
Sure.
I think that is more... Malik probably shouldn't be 7. Like, those two guys probably should be right next to each other, 12 and 13, and you can put them in whatever order you want to put them in.
Yeah.
Right, that kind of thing. But react to it however you want. He's at 13, and I do think, the executive comment there is right on. Like, I would be really surprised if he's not on the list next year when they do it.
He'll be on the list next year. I mean, the only thing that kept him off the list this year was that, for whatever reason, the Doug Peterson and Press Taylor wouldn't get this guy involved early in the season. Yep. I mean, I can remember watching that Dolphins game week 1, and they throw that go ball down the field. He goes and gets it over Jalen.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, man, you just keep throwing the ball to him. Like, every time. And then there was a couple of weeks in a row where, like, every time you throw the ball to this guy, good things happen. Why are they not giving him more targets? And then eventually they finally, like, the straw that broke the camel's back, everybody was hurt. They got to go to somebody. I was like, I guess let's just go to this rookie and see what he can do. But it shouldn't have been that. He had shown us enough flashes early on for an offense that was struggling that it was like, man, you got to scheme up. Get this guy targets. I don't know how, I don't know where, but you figure out a way to just give him a shot. At least see what you got. And if they'd have started doing that earlier, he'd be higher on the list because he'd have a ton more yards. I mean, let's just be serious.
Yeah.
I mean, the ability's there. We've seen that. He's got to stay healthy, obviously. Knock on wood. But
yeah,
outside of that, I think he's going to be on the list. And I think he'll be higher than 7. I think he'll be higher than 7 next year.
I think he realistically could be. I mean, we all know how his rookie season went, and I'm with you. Like, that play he made against Jalen Ramsey against Miami, and for a guy that you were covering him, every day you're out there talking to him. He's not loud.
No.
Right? Like, he doesn't say a whole lot. Even the few opportunities he went in front of the microphones, he doesn't say a whole lot, but you saw it on that play. Right? He does that to Jalen, and when it happens, he's turning around and letting Jalen know who did it to him. Right? Like, the on-field guy is not the guy that everyone had met.
No.
Right? Like,
Game day different.
Right. That energy was missing.
Yes.
From so many spots on the team all season long, and they had a guy that it felt like could give them some of that, and the coaching staff was basically just saying, yeah, but we want to keep the other guys, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, let him be him.
Get the guy involved. You needed somebody who could do it. I mean, think even before the week 1 play. During the preseason, he catches that one deep pass, and the entire sideline erupted for him as he gets up and he's talking his trash on the field. And it's like, these are two different dudes. He cranks it up on game day. He's not a friendly fire guy. In practice, he's going to go and do what he needs to do. But when the game comes and the bullets are flying, he's going against somebody else's team.
All attitude.
Oh, all attitude, man. And they needed that. And they still do need that from him. But, yeah, I don't know how or why it took him so long to finally say, okay, let's make sure that he has his targets. He's earned them. I mean, you spent a first-round draft pick on the guy. The offense was struggling and looking for those big plays that weren't there. Every time, it felt like for weeks, every time they threw him the ball, good things happened. And then eventually they finally got involved. And if they had got him involved early, I think he's higher. He's at least ranked on the list. And I think next year, I think he'll be knocking on the door top 5 next year.
I think he's got the talent to do that kind of thing. And look, as we said, as we were watching it happen last year, they haven't had anything like that on the team since Jimmy went away. Right? Like, they just haven't had that kind. They had the 1 year kind of
with Allen.
The 1 year with Allen Robinson, but even Allen Robinson felt way different than this, right? Like Allen Robinson's body type, play style, all those kind of things. It was like he was very good at what he was very good at, right? Like he was the jump ball guy. He was going to out physical you, and that's good, right? And I know we talked about it every day on the show there for a couple months. It's like, I'm in favor of giving him the long-term extension. Well, the team offered him one. He said no, right? Was eventually how that worked out, which is, that might as well be the book that we write about that era of Jaguars football. The team offered, he said no, right? Like that's essentially what happened with so many guys during that little period of time in Jaguars football. They're not having a whole lot of guys that are just flat out saying no right now to the team. And that's why when we reacted the way we did to them getting the deal done with Trevor and getting the deal done with Josh Hines-Allen, like when they got all this stuff done, it's like, this is a franchise that hasn't taken this step with anybody in how long?
Right.
Right? Like, that's what felt important about that. As much about the players as it was about the feel of the organization can shift now.
Yeah.
Because they have recognized that they have good players. We're keeping our good players.
They were keeping them, and those guys were also openly outspoken that they wanted to stay in Jacksonville, which I think meant something, because even you start going back to Allen, Jan, those guys weren't just saying, man, I want to be a Jaguar. I want to be in Jacksonville. Josh Hines-Allen said it openly. Even Evan Ingram, after his 1 year deal, said it openly, repeatedly. Christian Kirk, a lot of those guys wanted to be here. Now, some of them aren't here anymore. I mean, like Evan and Christian.
Time goes on,
and everybody's not going to retire a Jag. But when you start having players that are leaders on your team and they're openly saying that they want to be a part of what's being built in Jacksonville, it means something.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they could get into a period where they identify they're really good players and they do play their whole career here.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be, because you did have that kind of stuff early on from time to time with a few of those big name guys, right? Like they basically played their whole career here. Fred played a couple years in New England there at the end of it, but he was basically here. We'll talk about Fred and Jimmy in a specific kind of thing that I saw with CBS doing an all quarter century team.
Okay.
Right. And no Jaguars are on that team. The only Jaguars adjacent player was Calais Campbell, and he was an honorable mention along the defensive line. But we can talk about Jimmy and Fred and how close we think they might have been into consideration for that team compared to the guys who actually made it. As we go throughout the show, want to get to some of the questions that people are sending in for Jamal here for the program this morning, as well as, look, we're a week away from training camp, and so we'll try to squeeze in all the pre-training camp questions we can while we have Jamal here with us as we continue along. It's a Wednesday edition of Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, owned and operated by the Thompson family since way back in 1956. Back when sandwiches were sold out of beer flats on the counter, unrefrigerated, right there by the register. 25 cents for a ham and cheese. Of course, a lot has changed since then, but one thing that hasn't changed is Dandy's commitment to making quality sandwiches for their customers. Whether it's a classic Cuban made with authentic Cuban bread or a delicious home-style cranberry chicken salad, Dandy has something for everyone. Fast, fresh, waiting for you in the cold case at convenience stores all over town. You'll find them at all daily stores with a wide selection to choose from. After 10 years of talking about Dandy, I could probably recite the whole lineup by heart. Dandy's still the perfect go-to when you're in a hurry and you don't want the hassle of a long wait. So the next time you're out and about and hungry in Duval, folks, do what I do. Why don't you do yourself a favor and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Intercepted. It's Rasheed Mathis to win it for Jacksonville.
1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Who says there's no free lunch? Join me, Hicken, and Jaguar and Gator legend Fred Taylor for free food and football talk Friday, August 8th at Alhambra Theater. When you hear this...
Bye-bye. Brock Berry chasing a 90-yard run.
Be caller 28 to win a pair of tickets to a free lunch with Fred. Doors open at 11. Jags talk, Gators talk, football talk, including a 1-hour Q&A with Freddie T. And we're buying you lunch. Stay tuned for this sound.
Bye-bye. Brock Berry chasing a 90-yard run.
to win your tickets, courtesy of Jenkins Hyundai and Genesis of Jacksonville on Atlantic.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
The countdown is on. Save the date because Diamonds Direct's Designer Summer Sale kicks off this Monday, July 21st with 20% off the entire store. Engagement rings, diamond studs, fashion jewelry, and more. Want early access? Book your appointment now because the best pieces go fast. Don't miss the jewelry event of the season next week only at Diamonds Direct and designer appearances July 25th through 27th. Top designers from New York and LA with their exclusive collections. Visit diamondsdirect.com to book your appointment and start saving.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
When your plumbing backs up, your septic's acting shady, or your AC quits on a 95-degree day, who are you going to call? Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Don't take just our word for it. Here's what real customers are saying about their experience with our company.
Megan in the office was so helpful and polite. Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Has someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
Listen to whatever you like, whenever you want.
I like this.
1010XL on demand. Ad-free shows after the live shows end. Channeled by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Search where you find podcasts.
Frank Franzi here for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Remember Hal Sutton when he famously said, "Be the right club today"? Well, that's what Coil Fencing delivers. The right fence today. And they've been delivering the right fencing for both commercial and residential properties for nearly 100 years. If you're in the market for a new fence, call Coil & Sons today at 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here. Summer heat is on the rise, but don't sweat it. Big Chief Tire has your back with $50 off all AC services. Whether your system needs a quick recharge or a full repair, their expert team will keep you cool and road ready all season long. With 5 locations across Jacksonville, trusted service is always nearby. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your AC service. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
It's hurricane season. Protect your home with 904 Gutters with a Z. That's right. Z as in zone defense for your home. Water damage hits hard. 904 Gutters with a Z hits back harder. Search 904 Gutters with a Z and make the right call.
No matter what the reason, sending a floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers always works. For unique and special gifts, visit their showroom on Beach Boulevard. ET here with 1010XL. Kuhn Flowers is my go-to, and it should be yours too. Online at kuhnflowers.com.
Hi folks, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Dylan's trying. I think he's trying different things to see what's going to stick for Jamal.
Hey, I like the Jeezy. This works.
Yeah. Well,
This works. We were talking about it, and when you played this, I was thinking maybe the Young Jeezy Standing Ovation works. That's a classic. I go to on that one.
When I hear this instrumental, I think of the Boosie remix.
Yeah.
That's what I always think of. Louisiana.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Dylan's way more hip than me. So.
You're not tied in. That's not on the playlist.
No, it's not on the play. I knew all the names of the people that you mentioned.
Well, there we go.
None
Okay.
of the names were over my head. Like the specific songs. It's like I know if they say he did that song, I believe him. Like that kind of thing.
Hey, look, I get it. There's a handful like that where I'm like, yep, I've heard of that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That kind of thing. I'm all good with that. Like I have no issue with. I'm into what I'm into, and I'm unaware of what I'm unaware of. I'm comfortable with that.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like we were talking about Kai earlier. I don't sit around and watch Twitch streams all the time, but I'm aware of who these people are.
All right. Well, if we're gonna talk Kai, then we might as well talk Kai. Kai apparently had Travis Hunter on.
Yeah.
Right. And am I understanding this correctly, Dylan, that Travis Hunter was trying to teach him how to say Duval?
That's correct.
That's the premise of this, the whole Kai thing.
And there's multiple people around him, too, so he's trying to explain to them as well.
Okay, so they're a little confused, I guess, based on the way Liam might have said it. They were like, is this how it's done now?
A little bit.
Kind of thing. So this is Travis Hunter trying to let Kai know, how do we say Duval in Duval?
Everybody's here. All right, bet. I need y'all to say Duval. Duval! No, like the right way. Duval. Duval.
Wait, what's the right way?
You see how they spelling it? Duval! Wait. It's like Duval.
Okay. Duval. Okay.
Who was that for? I don't know. That's my team.
That's my team. Yeah.
I mean, and don't get it confused. Like Kai is like the biggest streamer online. Like he's been in Verizon commercials. Like he has turned this into like full-fledged stardom.
The man had Kevin Hart on the day before Thanksgiving.
Yes, like he is a full-fledged like celebrity at this point. So having Travis Hunter on that like is a huge thing for the like Jaguars brand as a whole. Like this is like I think there's a conversation to be had about who the most known Jaguars player is on the roster, and Travis hasn't played a single down, and I think it's him.
Yeah.
And I don't know how close it is.
Yeah. It's Travis Hunter's world. We're all living in it.
That sounds about right.
Like it, and that's fine. Like I'm comfortable with that kind of thing as well. I do think I had never even thought about saying it the way where it sounds like you're howling at the moon. Like I had never thought about saying the word that way where you're like Duval. Like I had never thought about it,
right?
That way. But as soon as they did it, it was like that does sound like wolves. Like that doesn't sound like us.
No.
We put the emphasis on the ooh. Like it's more an anthem.
And now it's going to become a call as they start winning more. Then more people will be introduced to it and understand it.
Right.
Even though if Liam's was a lot of people's first introduction.
Yeah.
First introduction to it, but it'll get corrected thanks to
even
he's
corrected
like
it.
Yeah, he's fixed it. He got it right after.
Yeah, we're all good with it now.
Yeah.
And it is kind of one of those things that's just out there in the ether. It
won't be forgotten.
Josh Hines Allen goes on Rich Eisen, and Eisen's asking about it. Like it's out there.
Yeah.
And in an off season where honestly, I can understand from like the outside of Jacksonville perspective, you have one of these Jaguars players on, you want to ask about a couple things. Like I would want to know about a couple things. What's going on with Travis Hunter?
Yep.
Right. Like can this actually work?
Yep.
That kind of thing. And how he said that word would be pretty high on those to be like, your coach said it like this, like what's going on?
I mean, the internet took it. That thing went crazy. Yeah, if you're on a national show, they're going to ask you about it.
Right. Like, why wouldn't they ask that kind of thing? So, that's fine. The Travis Hunter stuff has legs. Like, that's not going away anytime soon.
No.
He's going to be the guy, the Jacksonville guy. Thank goodness you got him. Like, that's the way that I look at it. It's like, you got him. And, I know there's people from outside the Jacksonville area who get annoyed by the Duval thing. And I'm like, well, I hope you do. I hope you hate it. I hope you have to hear it every day. Like in whatever city you're in, when we call to one another from across the mall, I hope that you have to deal with it. Grow up.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
Most teams have something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, most teams have something like that. Like Falcons fans with the Rise Up thing. I mean, there's so many teams that have their like little echo call.
And Duval is way cooler than Rise Up.
Yeah, that one's. We will give that one no points around.
Right. Like, there are plenty of them out there that are not nearly as good as what Jaguars fans can do with one another.
The Bengals with Who Day?
Yeah. Yeah,
Meh.
You are what you are. Go enjoy your Skyline chili and leave us alone. Dan out at the beach has dialed us up at 641-1010. What's going on this morning, Dan?
Hey, guys. This is Darren. Hey, Tony.
Yo.
Hey, guys. Enjoying listening to you guys. Hey, I wanted to weigh in on talking about Brian Thomas Jr.
Sure.
Is that, tell me, does this not speak to the dysfunction between the front office and the coaching staff last year that he couldn't even get on the field, but yet he was our most dynamic player, and finally when they did turn him loose. But, that feel like the dysfunction that we had spilt from the front office all the way into the locker room and affected the entire team, and we still won, 5 games, I guess? We won 5 games, and we lost 10 games by 1 score. So I have to really believe that the dysfunction of that front office down through the coaching staff, because there was disagreements there somewhere, and I'm not sure who wanted to draft Brian Thomas Jr., but I'm so glad that they did. But it just seemed like there was so much confusion last year, and it really blossomed, and like Doug Peterson just kind of like, he didn't even care anymore. And so I don't even know who was putting the game plan together, but it sucked because Brian Thomas Jr. wasn't a part of it. But anyway, enjoy the show, guys.
Thank you very much. Look, I would assume that I give credit to Trent Baalke for making the move.
Sure.
Right, for the Brian Thomas Jr. thing. I also give him credit for drafting a player in the 4th round that apparently the coaching staff had no interest in letting him do anything. Right? Like, that happened last year, too. So hits and misses with all these guys. But, yeah, the guy who drafted him gets credit for drafting him.
Right.
There's no reason to take it away from that kind of thing. Do I think that they were the most functional group?
No.
Obviously, no. Right, and you've had the opportunity to talk to different guys over the course of the offseason, and we've talked a lot about the conversation you had with Jarian Jones, right, and how emblematic that felt of where the organization was, that Jarian was playing well enough doing what he was doing, that him asking, can I do more, right? Like, I want to do a little bit more. Can I do a little bit more? And they're like, we're happy with you doing what you're doing. So that's the Brian Thomas Jr. thing on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
Right. Like, it's that kind of thing. And it felt like they had that kind of stuff happening all over the roster last year. And yeah, they were playing a bunch of 1-score games. Good for them. Like, there aren't trophies made for playing close. It's the NFL. It's supposed to be tight.
Now, yeah.
That's the way it works.
Yeah. Most of the games are close. Yeah, there's definitely some dysfunction there. I mean, I think some of it was that, Doug's one of those old school kind of coaches. He doesn't necessarily want to, go into a year feeling like he's going to rely on a rookie early on. He wants the rookies to earn every rep kind of thing, as opposed to, oh, man, I can see this guy's got it. Let's use him, So
you better reconfigure what earning every rep looks like.
Right. So I think there was some of that there where he was like, oh, well, we don't want to put too much on his plate early. Well, if he can handle it, give it. Let's see what the guy's got. Why wait?
Yeah.
Every game is important. What are we doing? If he can play, and let him go play. And that needed to be the end of it. So, yeah, I think there was dysfunction. I think Trent Baalke gets the points for it. He was the general manager. He gets the points for the hits. He gets the points for the misses. And that's kind of the way it goes, because there are players along the way, like you mentioned, a guy they drafted in the middle rounds last year, never saw a snap, and I mean,
probably never will.
Probably, yeah, I don't know. I'm not that high, that's one of the misses we were talking about. Yeah. So that's the name of the game with the GM, and as the longer Gladstone's here, hopefully he's got more hits than misses, but he'll get the blame for any misses along the way too.
Yeah, we don't know what hits and misses he has yet, right? Like, we have.
You gotta wait and see.
They're not even in pads for the first time with any of the guys that he brought in here. Yes. So we have no idea exactly how any of this stuff is going to work out. I'm very excited. I'm not trying to stop anybody from being pumped. No. Be pumped. This is a time of year to be pumped.
This is the time of year where every rookie's the next superstar.
Let him be.
That's how it is.
Right? Like, that's the Brian Thomas Jr. thing, just talking about what you did with, you got to expand your idea of what these young guys can do.
Yeah.
Give him until he can't take it. Like, don't say, typically rookies is like typical nothing. Like, he doesn't have to be typical.
No.
Like, when you give him something and he can't handle it, then it's like, all right, we won't give him that again until he's able to handle it. That's the way that you deal with that kind of. And if you keep putting stuff on his plate and none of it needs to be thrown away, right? It's like he keeps finishing the plate. Give the man dessert. Right. Like, at some point, you can't just keep taking the plate away from the guy when you're doing that kind of stuff. And hopefully that's the kind of attitude they have about all this stuff. Can Travis Hunter play both ways? Well, he will until he won't.
Yes.
That's the way they're handling it.
Only one way to find out.
And it does feel like they've at least brought Wyatt Milam in, and he's in an open competition for one of those guard spots.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're going to let him compete for one of those. So he's got a chance to be a starter until they decide who the starter is.
The faster you figure out if your rookies can play or not, the better you are off as a franchise.
Yeah.
Because now you can figure out, maybe this veteran player we don't need. Or, okay, well, we don't need to plan for this guy to be a part of the future. You're in a bad spot when you're in year 3 of a rookie's contract and you're like, I really don't know what he can do. And so the faster they can figure out if this guy has it or doesn't, that's the name of the game.
Yep. Jared Dubin over at CBS Sports put up a story that I wanted to react to a little bit. It's because it's the most important non-quarterback for every NFL team. And from an outside Jacksonville perspective, it's very clear what they're going to pick. Right? It's going to be Hunter.
Yeah.
And it's necessary for it to be Hunter, but we'll talk about what exactly he said about the Hunter story, but also want to ask outside of, if we're talking about this kind of thing from inside Jacksonville, right? Like, what are the players, the most important non-quarterbacks on this team from a Jacksonville perspective? Because I don't think necessarily the answer is Hunter.
My head goes somewhere else immediately.
Right? Like that kind of thing. And when it's your team, it's a little bit different with these kind of questions, especially when you got the kind of star that they do potentially in a Travis Hunter. Why would anyone outside of Jacksonville care about anything that's going on with the Jaguars outside of Hunter? That's fine. And if you're going to write a story like this, it makes sense. That's the direction they would go. But who are the players that we would consider from inside Jacksonville for this kind of thing? We'll get into that as Jamal St. joins us as we finish hour number 1 of the program. One more hour to go here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today.
For the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL. Summer on the First Coast.
Well, I'm above in the sun and I'm having fun.
Is sensational. That's the sound of sunshine.
I got my toes in the sand, all I need is
1010XL. Your summertime fun station.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Joe C for Hard Rock Bet, where things are heating up big time for the boys of summer. Download the Hard Rock Bet app right now and swing for the fences with your favorite baseball team and the best odds at Hard Rock Bet. And don't forget, new customers who bet $5 get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Easy to navigate, play to win. Head to Hard Rock Bet right now with odds on every sport waiting for you. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on 1010XL. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Imagine a place where the sun is always shining, the drinks are ice cold, and the food is bursting with flavor. Welcome to Hurricane Grill and Wings, where locals and visitors alike gather to weather this storm we call life. And you can escape here anytime you like. Today's forecast, hot, crispy wings with a 100% chance of frothy beers. Later, we're predicting big burgers and seafood tacos moving in. Escape the ordinary. HurricaneWings.com.
Hey, Googans, Hicken here, and I just want to once again give you this very simple reminder. Wear sunscreen. If you're outside a lot, bring the screen. Put some in your truck, on your boat, in your golf bag, whatever, wherever, just use it. Please. It's hot out there, and I just want you to protect yourself. I use it like it's cool because I think it is, but what's not cool, that's skin cancer. You don't want to deal with that. Go get yourself checked out. It could save your life. Go to beachesdermatology.com and schedule your appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out The Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At The Y, summer camps every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited, and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Hi, I'm John Haney from Clearwater Gutters and Drainage. After heavy rains, the problems are obvious. Mulch blown out of your beds, water standing around your foundation, and that fancy new crater back behind your bushes. Let Clearwater Seamless Gutters help you solve the problem spots.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters. And drainage, too.
Find out more at clearwaterjacks.com.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
This is your local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Septic Plumbing and Air Conditioning. 7 Florida State baseball players were selected on the second and final day of the 2025 MLB draft, as a record total of 11 FSU players were picked in the 20-round draft over 2 days. The Seminoles' 11 total picks in this year's draft are the most in school history and tied for the most among all NCAA teams this year. It's best the previous FSU high of 10 set back in 1995, though 2 of those selections came after the 20th round. The Orlando Magic, after dropping their third Summer League matchup against the Oklahoma City Thunder on yesterday, will hit the floor again to close out their Summer Vegas showcase against the Brooklyn Nets. You can catch all the action beginning at 7:30 p.m. on NBA TV. Right now, 86 degrees at 11:01. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
You went and found it.
I was about to say, is this the one you requested?
This is the one. You went and found it quick.
There we go.
That was Motivation 101.
That's it. Come on now. This is classic.
Yeah.
Can't ban the snowman. I remember when those shirts actually were banned in schools.
What an era. Everything was 2 sizes too big. Like the
Everything.
2003 NBA draft. Oh, man.
Goodness.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't. Man, we had our own weird eras when I was in high school. We had our own silly stuff.
What you got?
Man, I know there was a trend for a short while where everyone was kind of wearing the soccer stuff, like striped socks.
The stripe, really?
Yeah, like that kind of thing. I was during the era when you had the goth kids. That was a real thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a real thing that was going on. Everyone kind of dressed like a vampire, and that was before like everyone thought vampires were cool.
Oh, but before that,
yeah, like it kind of became mainstream to do that kind of thing. But there was that group of kids that's like Blade was no surprise to them. Like they were into it before we all knew it
They're
was.
like, we set the tone. This was us.
Like, that kind of thing going on. But yeah, everyone's got their things, right?
Yeah, that's how it works. You got to have something.
Yeah,
you got to have something. And I mean, when I was in, that was the thing. Yeah, those huge shirts, double XLs, pants that were
past your kneecap.
Yeah, yep. All of that. It was.
You do what you got to do.
It went from one end of the pendulum to the other, and then it was everything was 2 sizes too tight.
Were you ever a N1 merch?
Yeah, I had some AN1 stuff. I used to always have like the white forces. Yep, did all of that.
We all do what we must.
Hey, look, I still love the classic AN1 shirts. Nothing wrong with those.
No doubt. Like, it is funny. You grow up with whatever trends you grow up with, and then 15 years later, you just look back at it and go, what were we doing?
Right.
Like everyone,
it's like,
And it's like, you can't have that conversation with anyone who's in the middle of whatever the thing is now.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell in 15 years.
Because you can't see past it.
Like, you're just going to laugh at yourself for ever being a part of this. It's like, everyone has always done it this way. Like, you will not be the first. You will not be the last. Your kids will do the same thing.
Same thing.
They'll be doing something. You're like, you're doing what? What exactly do you think is cool, quote, cool? And then 15 years later, you'll join me. You'll get old and you'll be like, yeah.
Why'd I do that?
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
That was kind of whatever. But then you get to that age where you're like, well, everyone's going to do it, so let them have it.
Have fun.
I know they're going to grow out of it. I did.
Yep. You always do.
That's how you have to look at it.
And then it comes full circle, and then everybody will be wearing it, and it'll be what, throwback, whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I can remember when I was little, Converse All-Stars were the cheap shoe.
Hey, man, I wear nothing but like Chucks at this point.
Like, and it was like one of those things where it's like, if you were wearing the Chucks, it's because you were half wearing Bobo shoes. Like, that's the way that people would talk about it. And I was like, well, it's what I got. I don't know what else to do. It's just shoes. Like, that's always how I looked at it. It's just shoes. But it was like, it was low. And then right as I was getting into high school, they became cool again. Like, they became hip again. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Right? That my lame shoes are now cool. It was like, I was ahead of all of y'all. I want you to know. I didn't do it on purpose, but it happened.
Set the tone.
Like, I would like some credit for this. It was like, yeah, maybe I wore them because Rocky wore them, but, like that kind of thing. But, all those things, they go in and out. It is what it is. I do want to talk about that story over there on CBS Sports with the Travis Hunter being the non-quarterback to be focused on here. But before we get into that, let's take a quick look around the National Football League.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
The New York Jets got a deal done with one of their guys yesterday for the second day in a row. On Monday, it was wide receiver Garrett Wilson. Yesterday, cornerback Sauce Gardner, who they agreed to a 4-year, $120.4 million contract with. That includes $85.653 million in guaranteed money. It's almost like he wants a little bit more guaranteed than the last guy or something with that number. The new deal with Gardner makes him the highest paid corner in NFL history at $30.1 million a year, just above Houston's Derek Stingley Jr., who got his deal done earlier this offseason at $30 million a year. Kansas City and guard Trey Smith got a deal done just before the deadline for teams to negotiate a long-term deal with players on the franchise tag. Smith is getting 4 years, $94 million with $70 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid guard in NFL history. Washington wide receiver Terry McLaurin expressed his frustration with the lack of progress in his contract extension talks yesterday, again after not attending the Commanders' offseason workouts. And in happier Washington wide receiver news, the Commanders announced yesterday that they will be retiring the number 81 of Hall of Fame wide receiver Art Monk during their Week 9 Monday night game against Seattle on November 2nd. So they got one guy who may be looking for the door, one guy who they're immortalizing there in Washington at the wide receiver position. We'll see what comes out of all that. As I mentioned, Jared Dubin over at CBS Sports put up a story yesterday about the most important non-quarterback for each team. You wouldn't even have to scroll down, by the way, on this story, if you clicked on it over there at CBS Sports to know who the Jaguars pick was.
No, you already know where they're going with it.
Well, Travis Hunter was the picture on the article.
Oh, well, there you go.
Right.
Okay.
Like it's right there. And it tells you, how interested I think the football world really is.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen with Travis Hunter, and they should be. So, the write-up that he put in there, Hunter's the most unique player to enter the NFL in decades. A true two-way superstar in college. We simply have no frame of reference for what to expect from him in the pros. This is a guy who won the Biletnikoff Award as college football's best wide receiver last year. Wide receiver wasn't even his best position. Well, you can argue that. The Jags clearly have big plans for him on both sides of the ball, or they should. Look, outside of Jacksonville, Hunter being an obvious choice for this kind of thing, yeah, it's right there. It's why he's the picture on the article. We all know, right? Yeah. If you were putting together this kind of story for the most important non-quarterback on the team heading into camp from our local point of view, what players would be in consideration for
Brian Thomas is the first one out of my mouth.
Okay.
As soon as you said it, I said the right answer is Brian Thomas. The go-to answer, look, Travis Hunter's polarizing. I have aunts that live out of state that said, I want to go to a Jaguars game this year to watch Travis Hunter. They're not Jags fans. They live other places, have other teams that they support, but they like this guy from what they've seen from him in college, the personality that he shows and the stuff he does. He's that kind of player. So from a fan perspective, from a national perspective, yeah, I get it. Like, he's important to the brand, right? If he does well, then the brand's going to do well from a big perspective, but not necessarily wins and losses. I don't think he's the most important non-quarterback. To me, I think Brian Thomas is, because I think if something happened to BT, if he gets hurt, I think then you have to change the plan for Travis Hunter, because BT is your wide receiver one on offense. I don't think anybody's going to argue with me on that.
No.
And I think if you lose that guy, then you have to now replace that production, which means all of a sudden now Travis can't maybe do as much on the defensive side of the ball, because now he's going to have to shoulder a bigger load on offense. And while, I think we believe in Diami, and I think Diami is going to be an important part of the offense too, how much can you put on that guy's plate? Just because we honestly don't know, because if you look at his resume from Washington, how much can he handle? His resume from Washington says he hasn't done a ton. There's a belief he can do more than he did there, but how much? We don't know. So I'd say Brian Thomas is my go-to, without a doubt.
Okay. Would Hunter be number 2 on that list, or would you have somebody else in there?
I think I could say Hunter's 2, because I think
he's playing both ways.
He's playing 2 positions.
Yeah,
he's playing 2 positions. But I think it's Brian, and I don't think it's close personally. Just because I think if you lose him, he goes down. You have to change a lot.
How important in that kind of regard? How important in this kind of talking through the options they have here? How close is? You obviously have BTJ at number 1 with a gap in your mind. How close is Josh Hines-Allen to Hunter when we're talking about the most important non-quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think Josh is up there. And I think he's up there for a big reason, because you can't replace what he does, but I think you still have Trayvon. I think adding Emmanuel Ogbah, who is a guy who, if Josh misses 2 or 3 games, you're not going to blink an eye, and he's going to be able to give you some impact from that position. Helps to negate that one a little bit. So I think that's where, to me anyway, is you now have that third edge. Last year, it would have been one of the edge guys probably, because you had nobody behind him. Now you have a guy who can give you that rep if you miss a game or 2. I think we were talking off air about Art and Key.
Yeah.
I think Ogbah can give you every bit of what Art and Key was giving you.
Yeah. How about from a secondary perspective? if you had to pick one as the most important, would it be Tyson?
It's Tyson.
And how close is he to these other guys in this kind of consideration?
I mean, you need Tyson to be the guy that we thought he was or have seen him be 2 years ago. You need him to be healthy. It's got to be Tyson, because if you look at it, I mean, he's supposed to be your CB1. He needs to be your CB1. They have depth at safety. So you can take the safety guys out of it, in my opinion, because you have talent there that's not going to be starting for you. And when you get to corner, like Jordan Lewis, I think he's good, but you need Tyson to be that guy. So that way you can put Jordan Lewis in the slot. You can move him around and let him kind of do what they need to on the defense. I think Tyson's that guy.
Yeah, there's been so many of these kind of storylines and questions going into this training camp. In a typical Jaguar season, and I've seen them all, right? Like in a typical Jaguar season, we'd be talking about whatever changes they made, right? They focused on the offensive line, so that would be a top-of-mind story because they made it a priority, right? We'd be reacting to that kind of thing. We'd be talking about the first-round pick, whoever it was, that they had. This one's a bit different because he's kind of like having 2 first-round picks and the whole world's watching to see what's going to happen with Travis Hunter.
Right.
But in a typical Jaguars season, we would be spending a lot of time talking about the idea that the Jaguars had to move a corner to safety and maybe giving him the opportunity to be the starting free safety, right, for the football team in the third. Like, that would be a big, grabbing a lot of oxygen story in a typical Jaguars offseason. In this offseason, we get to it 5th, 6th, like on the stories list that we all have in our mind. But I do think it's a really interesting one going into camp. How quickly can Ransaw make the transition from corner to safety in the National Football League?
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be different. I think he's got to learn it. It's something that he's done briefly at like the Senior Bowl where they saw it, and he's a really good athlete. And even during the offseason, I think over the course of once he was drafted from rookie minicamp, I think I kept seeing people ask, well, what's Caleb Ransaw doing? And it was like, well, we haven't really seen him do a whole lot.
Yeah.
And then by the end of minicamp, he started to show up and make those splash plays because he was getting his footing. And even, talking to his position coaches, there's a transition.
Yeah.
And one of the bigger transitions is now, like at corner, you can kind of focus on your guy. You kind of have your responsibility. They call it an island, whatever, but you can't see the full picture. At safety, you're 15 yards back, whatever. Yeah. And you can now see the full picture, and it's on you to be the communicator, to relay. So I think that's a big part of it, too, is not just see it, but see it, diagnose it, and communicate it. Were some of the things that he was having to learn and is going to still be learning. So it's different, but I think he has a skill set. He's a really good athlete.
Right.
He did some really good things at Tulane, and if it works, then they're going to have a kind of chess piece guy who has the skills to move around and do some different things for him.
Want to get into some of the questions that people are sending in for our Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day. Just asking you to send whatever questions you have regarding the Jaguars to Jamal St. We'll dig into those. I do think, talking about the Ransaw thing, in a typical offseason, that would be a lead story.
Yeah, probably.
For the Jacksonville Jaguars. And in this offseason, with everything else they've had going on, we get around to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
a footnote.
Right. It's kind of at the end of all these conversations. It doesn't make it any less important.
No.
Right. The idea of this kind of thing. I have these things in my head. They're in my head for whatever reason that they're in there. Right. Like, I'm the guy that 3 years ago, even when I'm watching everyone freak out when Doug Peterson got hired here about the tight end position, I was like, he doesn't need 15 tight ends. Like, if he's got one, he'll be fine. He doesn't have to have 2 and 3 going. Like, he did that with Philadelphia because they had to.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way that I felt about it at the time. And that's kind of how I feel about tight ends in general.
Yeah.
You feature them if you have to. You don't have to feature a tight end.
Right.
Which is why I'm not all that worried about the Brenton Strange thing. I think they'll be fine at tight end with Brenton Strange as their starting guy. But I kind of treat tight end the same way I treat safety.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the very bottom of my list of priorities.
Yeah, the NFL's showing you that, too.
Right, with the 22 positions. So I'm curious about the idea of moving a corner to safety and how well can he actually make that transition. I think it's a big question mark going into training camp, but it's not a make or break kind of question in my mind. It's like, well, they'll find somebody that plays free safety. They'll be all right. at the position. But I don't think they have to excel at that position for the defense to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, there are guys at safety that definitely change defenses.
They do.
And I think he has some of the ability. I think there was a stat around the draft where something with his athletic score was different for safeties. I don't remember what it was. But look, if it works, then that's great. But like you said, the NFL's shown you that they don't value safeties highly. Like they've done that repeatedly. So the Jaguars will be fine at safety as long as you have guys that play their responsibility and aren't blowing coverages. Yeah. They'll be just fine. But if Ransaw does turn into something that can do a bunch of stuff and be a little bit of a chess piece and use those cornerback coverage skills while still playing out over the top, then it gives them some flexibility, and he could be one of those guys.
I got a picture on the text line that I'm going to have to show you when we get into the break here.
Uh-oh.
Someone has done some investigative journalism, and they claim to have found a picture of you when you were younger.
Me?
So we'll have to
text it to you, Jamal.
We'll have to find your reaction to it when we return, as well as a bunch of reaction to the questions that we've gotten for Jamal throughout the show this morning. He just saw it. You can hear the reaction there. It is wild. We were discussing it. Someone found it. So Jamal can put that out at his own desire if he wants to. All of it is fine. We'll get into some of the questions for Jamal when we return here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. It sure is great living in the golf capital of the world.
Jeez, you love this golf stuff, huh?
Oh, yeah. 1010XL.
Hey, so where do we tee off?
Jacksonville's golf station.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Your hometown hero since '94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss Wednesday
on Jaguars Today.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey, Hicken here. Think you got the ugliest garage floor on the First Coast? Your garage a crack-stained hot mess? Hold on to your squeegee. Checkmate Coatings is hunting for the worst garage floor out there. And the winner gets a free garage coating makeover. Whoa! Take 10 seconds. Snap a pic of that garage eyesore. Register at checkmatecoatings.com/contests for a chance to win a free floor coating. It's easy. Just snap a quick pic and enter for a chance to win at checkmatecoatings.com/contest. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Duck Rooter. We've seen it all. Whatever's blocking your pipes, we'll get it flowing again. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule your drain cleaning service. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckrooter.com.
From the windswept shores of the UK.
The greatest shot of his life.
Follow the Open Championship on 1010XL.
Look at those scenes coming down the 18.
Teed up by topdressing.com and 904 Gutters with a Z.
Football season is almost here, so before it arrives, I'm going to get my home organized. Lauren Brooks here at Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers, anywhere that needs to be organized. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off during the month of July. Call 878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I always brag on what you guys have on-road and off-road. But, Greg, tell everybody about what's happening on the water, because you got loads of opportunity.
We do. We've got lots of boats in stock. We got the Honda 19-foot Fisher Runabout. We've got the Coach pontoons, all of them with that legendary Honda motor and legendary Honda reliability, which you always want when you're out on the water.
You could be cruising along the Intercoastal or out on the ocean, but check it out. Facebook page ready for all of you to see, Cycles of Jacksonville, or their showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball now offers web stores, so your employees can order their own branded gear, and you have more time for Wordle. Check it out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
I-9 Sports is geared up for fun for kids all over the First Coast with fall and winter registration open right now. Kids ages 3 to 17 get in the gym or on the field with I-9 Sports, covering Clay, Duval, and St. John's. And I-9 has all-girls flag football at Oakley, UNF, Fletcher, and Creekside. Plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast to take advantage of. Don't miss out. Registration open now for fall and winter at i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jamal St. here with us for the Wednesday edition of Jaguars Today. Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark here with you as well. Mike Dempsey on assignment. He'll be back with us on Monday. We'll be out at Jaguars training camp, I believe, on Wednesday for the show next week. Yeah, that'll be good. Live out there somewhere. They'll put us in a corner somewhere in the building.
There's plenty of space.
It's all good.
Hopefully in the shade.
Yeah. You're darn right. Hopefully in the shade. They can keep us in the AC as far as I'm concerned. But we'll be out there. That's the plan at least. I'm not sure where the broadcast location will be, but we will be out there for training camp starting next week. Wanted to get to some of the questions that we've had listeners send in for you this morning, Jamar.
All right, throw them at me.
Let's see here. I could start there, but we'll get to that one. What are your expectations for Mason Smith going into year number 2?
I think he's going to compete for a job. I think Mason is going to kind of try and pick up where he left off at the end of last season. I like the idea of Mason being I think he kind of came on late in the process, and I think he's going to be a good rotation guy. I think at the end of this year, we'll feel a whole lot better about Mason than we do going into this year. So I think maybe 4 or 5 sacks from him. Solid guy in that rotation. To kind of solidify things next to Eric and along with Devon Hamilton. So I have high expectations for Mason this year.
We got a kind of cluster of running back questions here.
Okay. That's where everybody's at, right?
Yeah. Who do you think we get more for in a trade, Tank or Etienne, and why?
Oof. I guess Travis has 1 year left on his deal, so he'd be a rental, where Tank has a couple of years. But I think Travis has done more. I think Travis would probably get you more in a trade, even if it's a 1 year rental. I think you could convince me that some team that has a running back injury, either during preseason or early in the year, that feels like they're primed to make a run, would send you something.
Who do you think gets the first carry against Carolina week 1?
Tank.
Okay. Do you see LaQuint Allen as a dark horse to take the RB1 job due to his pass protection prowess?
Not RB1. I think you're going to be your third down running back when it's all said and done. If you think last year where we were all screaming at the TV in crunch time passing situations when Dearness Johnson was on the field, think those snaps. And he was on the field because he could pass block. So, some things it's just not going to change that drastically. I think LaQuint Allen will play. I expect early on that he's going to play more than Tootin early in the year, because I think Allen's going to have a role because of that pass blocking on those passing downs.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to be RB1, ultimately, but I do think he'll be a role player.
Yeah, he's interesting, and it's what I've talked about with him throughout this process is the things that it feels like he may be able to specialize in are the types of things that get you on the field.
That's it.
Right? And they're going to have some kind of role in mind for him early on. How much will it expand beyond the role stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Time will tell on that. You know, how effective he is when he gets the opportunities will answer those kind of questions because obviously they have their own idea. It's why they were willing to spend the pick they did on Tootin.
Yep.
Right? So they have some idea of what they want that to turn into. But LaQuinn Allen as the kind of pass protection specialist for them among the four, if he proves to be as good at that as it seems to be, you know, as part of his game, then he's going to be on the field in those situations, and he can't just come on the field for those situations if he's going to be an effective player for you. Sure. So he shows that other stuff. Who knows how big the role can be, but I'm with you. I don't think that means RB1 anytime soon.
No. I mean, you think of passing down backs that carved out good careers. I mean, Giovanni Bernard late in his career, Danny Woodhead up in New England. I mean, there's a handful of guys that kind of specialized in McKissick up in Washington's done a lot of stuff where they specialize in these things in passing downs and passing situations, but they ultimately never end up being RB1. They have a role, they play a lot, and they're part of the offense, but maybe never the over-the-top guy that's going to get the bulk of the carries. Even Naheem Hines when he was healthy.
Yeah. Our Brazil correspondent, Cristiano, has texted into us this morning. Which will be better at the start of the season, offense or defense?
Defense.
Why do you say defense?
I think that there's less questions on the Jaguars defense than the Jaguars offense. The Jaguars defense, I mean, if you start looking at it, there's a whole lot of kind of solidified guys that have done things, and there's very few questions. When you start getting to the offense, we start projecting a little bit. I mean, think about it. We kind of know what Brian is, but we're projecting what Travis ultimately is going to be a little bit. We're projecting what De'Ami Brown is going to be outside of what we've already seen there. We're projecting what Brenton Strange can be as a starter. I mean, these are all projections. We honestly don't know. So I think the offense is going to be a work in progress over the course of the year. Because I think ultimately that group has to gel because there are so many changes where the defense, they kind of spot changed. These guys have played together a little bit, but the offense is a lot of guys where there's a vision for them and we think they fit the role, but there's still a projection there. Like outside of Jacksonville, that's why people are maybe a little bit lower on this team because they don't understand the exact role for some of these guys on the team that they maybe the team has envisioned for them. But it's still a projection because a lot of them haven't done it.
I think there's a portion of the fan base who feels this way and asks questions this way about Trevor Lawrence. I don't agree with the connotation that's put into it given the contract that he has, but it's the way that some people feel.
Okay.
So I'll ask it. Is this a make or break season for Trevor Lawrence?
Nah, it would have to be like colossally awful. Like an awful to a level that we haven't seen from Trevor. It would have to be it would have to be bad.
The idea of bad Trevor in people's minds would have to be multiplied by 10 times.
Yes.
For it to be a question.
There would have to be a complete lack of hope. I mean, I don't know how you can look. Trevor knows what he needs to do. If you haven't did you listen to the Pardon My Take interview with Trevor? I think that is the most candid interview I have heard Trevor do since becoming a Jaguar. And I mean, he just talks about like where he thinks he should be and what he needs to do and going into this season. And he feels like he's going into his prime and he knows he has to crank it up. So look, I expect that there are going to be some growing pains on this offense this year. But I think by midway through, you should expect to see it kind of start settling in and the arrow really start to point up. And we should see, hopefully, that light come on from Trevor and from the offense as a whole. I understand where people's angst is because he was billed as this generational prospect and we really haven't seen it consistently enough from him. But look, this isn't going to be make or break. It would have to be, colossally bad. It would have to be, there are quarterbacks in the NFL that have had bad seasons. It would have to be, I'm trying to think about a guy who's just awful. I mean, I don't think this is make or break. No, I think he's going to get at least this year and next year unless this is just a new level of awful.
Yeah, I don't see it in the cards.
No, I don't either.
It being that kind of bad for Trevor Lawrence. And I'm going to make you put on the Baselli hat.
Okay.
For a second.
All right. I'd have to grow about 2 feet for that, but just to reach the hat.
So now you're in charge of all of these kinds of things.
Okay.
So who are they wearing the throwbacks against this year? The 2 times they can wear them, who do they wear them against?
Well, I'd make them permanent if you ask
me. I think we all would. I think Tony would too. That is really channeling your inner Baselli.
Hey, I come on now. We'd make them permanent here. I think that's the goal. Okay, 2 times I get to wear them.
Yep.
And you want me to pick out who the 2 are. I would wear them against Kansas City on Monday night. I think that one's the no-brainer one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Give me the Titans at home.
Okay.
Yeah, show up for that one. I think something like that. I'd wear the throwbacks for those 2. Those games are spread out a little bit. I think you want to put them on prime time. Show up looking your best. Dress to the nines for Monday night.
Like, when we finally got to see him in those uniforms again last year, like, as soon as you saw him, it's like, why did they ever go away from this?
Time to go back.
Right? Like, this is a top handful of the uniforms in the league.
Yes.
Look. When they're in this kind of look, especially with the way uniforms work in the NFL right now. It's like all the teams that have the opportunity to go to that classic look, if you got one, go. Like, you left it for no reason. All of you. You left these uniforms for no reason. It was just the cash grab.
Just to change.
Right, to make a little bit more money. It's obvious that it's the best uniform that the Jaguars have ever worn.
Yes.
Just make it the uniform. And then when they're like, well, we can wear 2 others, it's like, we don't want to. We don't need a throwback. Throwback to what? You want us to wear the 3 tricolored helmet for a week? No. Like, we just don't have interest in doing it.
They can come up with an alternate. I mean, look, they do it. Colleges have like a plethora of uniform. I mean, how many different Gators jerseys have we seen over the years? You mean to tell me that the NFL couldn't get somebody to design a good-looking jersey?
Yeah. You see what the Chargers did yesterday? They dropped like 9 new uniforms.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, come on.
You know, it's true, but I do think there is something to Penn State wears what Penn State wears.
This is true too.
Right? Like, and it's like the Yankees wear what the Yankees wear. When you're that, like, and we're not going to do better than this.
Right.
We can't do better than the pinstripes. Why mess with it? And I do think the Prowler uniforms for the Jags are the pinstripes. It's like, we may be able to wear something else, but this is who we have to be.
Yes.
You know, like, we need to embrace that as closely as we possibly can, because everyone who sees them knows, right? There's no doubt about how cool those uniforms are.
They are where they need to be.
And it highlights the teal the way teal deserves to be highlighted. Please.
It's the right tone of teal.
Right. Like, that's what you got, Jacksonville. You got teal. That's what you have. So make it the primary thing that you have. Feature it.
I don't understand it. Yeah, they need to get back to that one. But yeah, I'm okay with an alternate or 2. But yeah, I'm with you. I think those should be the jerseys. I don't know. I'm sure there was a reason for the change. Maybe and it's probably just a cash grab, like you said. But ultimately, it's time to go back. It's time to go back.
Well, you saw the lines when they put the Prowlers out last year.
Man.
You obviously got the bump for that one. So at some point here in like 15 years after it goes primary, in 20 years, when they're like, well, we can go away from it for a decade and then we can come back and we'll get that juice again. It's like, that stinks. That's the way people may think about that kind of thing. But it's the real world, man.
Yeah.
That's how these things go.
That's what it is.
It is a cycle. It's like the Converse All-Star shoes. Like,
we'll enjoy it when we get it.
You better believe we'll enjoy it while we have it. And we'll have it 2 times this year. I mentioned earlier in the show the CBS putting together the all-quarter century team.
Sure.
And Calais Campbell be the only player that was mentioned. But I do want to talk about how close or far away we think a couple of the guys that could have been in consideration for the Jaguars on this team might have been when you look at the guys who actually were named on this quarter-century team. So we'll talk a little bit about that, specifically with Fred Taylor and Jimmy Smith. How close could they have been on this kind of list? We'll get into that a little bit before we close up shop here on this Wednesday edition of Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Door Studios. Superior products, exceptional service.
What's happening?
Tommy Mack joins Lauren Brooks and Taylor Dahl for the new and improved Helmets and Heels.
So let me get this straight.
New attitude, new time.
What exactly is it I'm not supposed to know about?
Catch the new look Helmets and Heels afternoons 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durban Park, Butler Point, and now in Ortega Park. Chicken Salad Chick.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Jaguars Today, Wednesday.
Summertime is busy with graduation parties, summer barbecues, festivities, family gatherings. The month of July, National Carpet Cleaning Month. So Zero Res is offering $45 per room of carpet clean and 20% off air duct cleaning services as well. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call them 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled backwards or forwards, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here to tell you about the coolest new thing, a putting green in my backyard that my friends at Sunshine Turf installed. Sunshine Turf can do the same for you. They'll come to your house, they'll create a custom design for your space, and you'll have an authentic golf course experience right in your own backyard. I freaking love it. Sunshine Turf is family owned and they made the process so simple. So visit sunshineturf.info or call them at 904-383-0243 and get a free quote today for your own putting green. Get it from Sunshine Turf.
The calls have been pouring in.
It's the strongest phone connection on the First Coast. The Checkmate Coatings phone line covers you with expert interviews from around the country and your opinions and comments from here at home. All day, every day on 1010XL.
Registration is now open for the Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament with over $450,000 in cash and prizes. Fun starts on July 13th with the inaugural Kickoff Beach Tournament that has a $50,000 cash first place prize. There's also a junior offshore tournament and one for the lady anglers. Best of all, the winner of the General Offshore Tournament takes home a Contender 28T with twin Yamaha 200s. Register today at kingfishtournament.com.
Looking for a great place to enjoy some craft creations and soak up some scenery? Fernandina's Mocama Beer Company is a must-see and must-try. Nassau County knows it. Visitors need to find out about it. Mocama means near the big water where the sun is born. And if you visit their tap room in Fernandina Beach, you'll see how they've mastered equal parts precision and art in creating great flavors from IPAs to Pilsners, lagers, and sours, plus plenty more. Mocama.com, Mocama Beer Company. Start an adventure and find them in Fernandina.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out The Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At The Y, summer camps every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited, and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It's Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacks Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacks Beach or visit apexroofingfl.com.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Jamal St here, kind enough to join us for the program this morning. As I mentioned going into the break, Brian Diardo over at CBS put together a quarter-century team. Mm-hmm. The only Jaguar that got any kind of mention was Calais Campbell as an honorable mention at defensive end on the team. So I wanted to take a look at the guys who did make the team at wide receiver and running back specifically compared to, obviously, Fred Taylor and Jimmy Smith, the two guys that we talk about every year when the Hall of Fame stuff comes up. Fred Taylor's been a semifinalist now for a couple years for this honor.
Right.
And I'm still hopeful that at some point in the near future he gets in. But you start looking at some of the other names of the running backs that they had on this quarter-century team, and it's pretty clear what the requirement is. Yeah. Like, you have to be in or on your way as a no-doubt kind of Hall of Famer, right, to be on this list. Even for the quarter-century team, I think the bar is a little bit higher at running back for Fred Taylor here than it is at wide receiver. But you look at the 5 players at running back that are mentioned, right, on the all-quarter-century team. The starting running back was LaDainian Tomlinson. No
Tough
issue
to argue.
there.
Yeah. And
he's among the handful of the best in league history.
Yep.
Adrian Peterson and Derrick Henry.
Tough to argue with those
the other
two,
right? Like Derrick Henry is right in the tail end of a Hall of Fame career.
Yes.
Honorable mentions go to Frank Gore, who's going to get in, and Edgerrin James.
Who's already in.
Yes. Right? So I think Fred Taylor is kind of on par in my mind with an Edgerrin James. I do.
I'd flip him.
Like, I don't know, like, I don't think the perception of him is the reality of what Fred Taylor was as a player, right? So we talk about it every year with Fred. I think he's a Hall of Fame player. It's hard, right? The Hall of Fame is a really, really hard bar to jump over. Wide receiver is a bit more interesting because you don't get the whole career for Jimmy. You get most of the career for Fred Taylor.
Right.
You get all but the first couple of years if you're starting in 2000.
Yeah.
If you look at Jimmy Smith, he made 5 straight Pro Bowls starting in the year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He was a 1,000-yard season, I think, in 7 of the 8 years he played in the 2000s, including his age 36 season, that last year in the league for Jimmy Smith. So Jimmy is right there in those kind of numbers things. You look at the players that are on this list, though. Randy Moss, Larry Fitzgerald, Marvin Harrison, listed as the starters on this list.
Mm-hmm.
The other guys on the roster, Terrell Owens, Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson, and the honorable mentions, Antonio Brown and Julio Jones.
Yeah. Look, it's so tough to make the argument for Jimmy just because he had so many of his, like, huge seasons. Like, he has 1,600 yards in 1999.
Yeah.
So right before the cutoff. So so I can't consider that because I first went to, I'm like, all right, well, who can I knock off in this honorable mention? These are going to be easy pickings. But when you start even saying Antonio Brown or Julio Jones, their entire careers fall under the window. While for a guy like Jimmy Smith, on the other hand, a big chunk and some big years for him fall right before the window.
Yeah.
So that's what really hurts him. Fred, I think, is an easier argument. And I think you go straight to, like you mentioned, Edgerrin James, even Frank Gore. I think we could make a flop there. I think him and Edgerrin James are about what and the same amount of 1,000-yard seasons that would go toward this thing. So, I mean, I might make the switch there. I think Fred's a Hall of Famer. I think he needs to be in the Hall of Fame. I think it's foolishness that it's taken this long, honestly. And I think that he could be at least an honorable mention on this list and replace a guy like Edgerrin James. Maybe Frank Gore. Frank Gore has the longevity, and he goes in that same conversation where all of his entire career is going to be in the window, right? So that's the tough thing for when you start looking at a list and you have these cutoff points like this, I feel like.
Yeah, the cutoffs make it a little bit more complicated. I do think it's interesting. I think Julio has 7 1,000-yard seasons in his career, and he got to play his whole career, right, in this era. As I mentioned, Jimmy had 5 of those 6 years, right? He was a 1,000-yard receiver, including his last year.
Yes.
Julio's never been the touchdown scorer.
No.
Like, that's never, as big as he is, he's never been the touchdown scorer. Like, the conversation about Jimmy gets a little, people don't realize there was a run for Jimmy Smith where, Marvin Harrison is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And during the era where Marvin Harrison was earning those Hall of Fame honors, the only receiver that was even close to his range while he was doing it was Jimmy. Like, he's the only other guy that was close, right? It wasn't Ocho Cinco. It wasn't any of these guys playing during that. It was Jimmy.
Right.
Was the one that was right there neck and neck with Marvin Harrison. But Jimmy doesn't have the Super Bowl ring.
He doesn't have the ring.
Like, it's that 1999 season.
If they get it done, that's it.
I can remember years ago, I was doing updates for the players. I was here in the studio, and RJ was on the board for us that day. And RJ asked me, he's like, why do Jaguars fans express the hate the way they do with the Tennessee Titans?
Oh.
And I explained to him that 1999 season.
Yep.
And like everything that it has cost the fans of this team, the Hall of Fame potential guys at that time. Obviously, that's before Big Bo was even in a Hall of Fame. It's like, we wouldn't be sitting here waiting on our hands for Bo to get in. He'd be in.
Yep.
Right? We'd be asking at this point in time. I told him, I was like, Fred would be in, and we'd be asking, when are they going to put Jimmy in?
Yep.
Right? Like, they would see how great the players that we talk about being great were. And it's when you hear the guys who played with and against them, they talk about them like Hall of Famers.
Yep.
Right? And I'm not saying that there's anybody on this list of guys right now that aren't talked about that way. But our guys were too.
Right.
And it gets forgotten because they don't have the ring.
That's the thing. That ring does make a difference. You got to have it, and it changes stuff. It's a big shift. And if they would have had it, I think Fred's in. I'm with you. I think all of them are already in.
Yeah, but they don't.
Nope. It didn't happen.
Because of that darn, man, my gosh.
Those Titans.
It's reminding me again, right? It's a good thing Leon might break something. If we're going to be talking about this when he's coming to the studio, as he comes in, as we welcome in XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill on 1010XL.
Yeah, I don't know. In sports, Joe, as you know, the scars are the things you remember.
Oh, yeah.
And
scar tissue much
there's
enjoy.
No scar like that 1999 scar.
Yeah.
Like, that's the scar that you have to tell your kids about.
Yeah.
Why do you feel this way about who now? It's like, let me tell you a little story. Join me at the campfire as we go through the pain of 1999.
I tell you what, we've heard a lot of stories from Leon, from a handful of other guys, as far as being up at the half in that locker room, feeling pretty good about themselves. Reggie Barlow couldn't escape at the end of the game in the locker room. Jimmy Smith wouldn't talk to him. Just all kinds of crazy stuff. And to lose to the same team 3 times, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's just
they had no answer for Eddie George or McNair.
Unfortunately, they didn't, even if they might have had the play call sheet on the other sideline for that particular game. Yeah. A legendary moment for all the wrong reasons that day.
Believe it.
Thank goodness they came up a half yard short. My gosh.
And I was at that Super Bowl, and believe me, I had more than one reason to root against them. A financial wager that I made, which was significant, because I thought the Rams were going to roll them, and it ended up being a push. So that was a huge victory as far as I was concerned.
Right.
And then the other part, of course, you can't The Titans cannot win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, not before we do.
Yeah, no,
You know,
no, period.
Like, that's the last race we can win, but let's win that one.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can, you know, the scar comes off a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but you got to get to that point first. What do you got coming up on primetime
We're
today?
definitely going to be leaning in as far as training camp is concerned, just like you guys have been getting fired up for it. But then also Florida is in, Atlanta today, Alabama. Kalen DeBoer's already said whatever happened last year, they did not meet the standard, which is certainly understandable. So anyway, we'll dig into all that stuff. Arch had a response to Steve Spurrier about Steve Spurrier saying, couldn't beat out a 7th-round draft pick. So we'll have a little fun with that today, too, for sure.
The Mannings, they certainly do have media savvy.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
So I'm sure he was very comfortable answering any of those questions that people may have had.
Yeah, they're born to be stars. There's certain families that know as they come up, they're going to be groomed perfectly, and he's one of them.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Like the whole world here in 15 years is going to be waiting to see what Arch Manning kid's going to be doing.
Yeah.
Like, is he playing football yet?
Yeah.
Like, we're all going to be asking. Like, it's just generational.
They'll be recruiting him out of Pop Warner.
Well, why wouldn't you?
That's exactly what it is.
He's got the right name. We know that's the kind of thing going on. All right, Joe, we'll be listening.
All right,
XL
fellas,
Prime
thanks.
Time coming up next. Thanks again for joining us in studio today, Jamal.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you having me in.
Yeah, man. What do you have in the hopper for the next week or so leading into camp?
Look, we kicked off our show over on Channel 4 on Monday night, Teal the Show. So we do that every Monday and Friday night at 11:20. So we'll be doing that again on Friday as we kind of try and set the table and then batten down the hatches for what hopefully is a fun and long season.
Yeah. Long would be nice.
Long. Hey, we're talking like February-ish?
Yeah, a long season that feels short. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be nice.
Yeah. It's the long season. We know what the long seasons are.
No, we don't. We've had enough of those.
There is no doubt about that. So let's hope for the long, short season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That'll do it for us today. For Dylan Denmark, for an on assignment, Mike Dempsey, I'm Tony Smith. John Shipley will be joining us for the show tomorrow. XL Primetime coming up next on 1010 XL.
The Maxwell House